wild thing, I think I love you.
But I wanna know for sure.
So come on, hold me tight. I love you.
Wild thing, you make my heart sing. You make everything, baby. You're my wild thing. That's a rock and roll fiddle right there. A wild thing, I think you move me. But I wanna know for sure. Come on. Hold me tight. You move me. Wild thing, shake everything. Oh, you make my heart sing. You make everything move. Oh, come on, wow. Shake that thing, shake that thing, shake that thing. Oh, so good, baby. So good. You know, I was, you remember different things, and I didn't think about this for a long time, but here's what happened. When I was writing my songs back in doing fine, writing country songs back in New York, I knew all the folks in the street. I was from the Brill Building area, not the Brill Building, because everybody says, "Where are you from?" The Brill Building thing, you know. And I said, "Well, yeah, but the Brill Building was the Brill Building at 1619 Broadway. It was also 1650 Broadway at 51st Street, and it was also Screen Gems Music, which was right down the block, 1 block away." So the Brill Building era, if anybody asks you about it, had 3 buildings. The Brill Building, 1619 Broadway, housed a lot of good writers like Lieber and Stoller. 1650 had some of the greatest songs written. 1650, that's where I was. And it was Strangers in the Night and all bunches of stuff there. And then Screen Gems down the block was where Jerry Goffin and Carole King wrote, and Neil Sedaka wrote their thing. And Neil Diamond was up in my area. And so we were all friends. I knew the street. I could look out my window where I was writing the songs and see people walking by, and I would see them, and I'd say, "Oh, let me run down there and say hi to so-and-so," or whatever. But I remember one day, it was around 1963 or something like that, the end of 63, I looked out the window. There was a guy I didn't know there. He was walking with a couple of guys I knew. And the next day, I saw him walking around again. He looked different than the rest of the guys. So a day or two later, I was walking in the streets of New York, and one of my friends said, "Hey, Jeff, come over. I want you to meet a new songwriter in town. His name is Jimi Hendrix." So I said, "Hey, Jimmy, how are you?" And he was a sweet guy, really nice guy. And he was trying his hand at writing songs at that period of time. He was in my building, 1650 Broadway. He was going upstairs, signed a publishing contract with Juggy Murray at Sue Records. And he wasn't doing any good at it. He was trying. I don't know. He just started, but he wasn't known, didn't have any songs recorded. And then maybe some months later, he was down and he was starting to play down in the village. And then guy from the Animals, the bass player from the Animals, heard him and brought him over to England and said, man, we got to get this over, and you could break over in England. He brought him over there, and with a very short period of time, Jimmy went, I mean within months, he started getting on stage with different people, and the word spread like that about Jimi Hendrix in England. And it could happen in England. That couldn't have happened in the States. He came from nobody to somebody in the period of 4 or 5 months. And when he came to be somebody, he was everything. Every star on the planet, the Beatles, the Who, everybody went to Jimi Hendrix shows. And Jimmy was doing something that nobody else would do. No star would ever do this back in those days, because all the stars positioned themselves by recording their own things and being very cool, you know. But Jimmy ended every one of his shows with what was just the #1 hit record in the country. A cover song for a star was unheard of. That song was Wild Thing. And he ended every show in England with Wild Thing. Then he came over to the States to the Monterey Festival, and there was a big debate. This hot new guy from England who was tearing up England was coming to Monterey. The word was out on Jimi Hendrix. And it was a question, was the Who going to close the Monterey Festival, or was it going to be Jimi Hendrix? And the management fought it out, and the Who won. But the Who lost. Because when Jimmy got on the stage and finished his set with Wild Thing and burnt that guitar and did what he did to that song, there was no following Jimi Hendrix, and it was all over. So, in the spirit of Jimi Hendrix, let's do one wonderful chorus of Wild Thing from the deeper place, how Jimmy would do it. If you ever saw that Monterey thing, he just, oh man, he just let everything out. So this is therapy here. This is why we're here tonight. This is why I came all the way across to these shores for this night of therapy. So one chorus of Wild Thing from the deeper place. You ready from the deeper place? Okay.
Yeah!
With everything you got. So that the person you're next to that you've known for a long, long time, 1 month, 2 months, 10 years, 30 years, 40 years, when you sing this chorus of Wild Thing, that person has no idea who the hell you are. That's therapy. Are you ready? Okay. I know I'm going to start this off, and you're not going to do it. You're going to just be too easy on it, but in that spirit, here we go. You ready? Back here, one chorus of Wild Thing? Yeah! Okay, here we go. 2, 3, go! Wild Thing! Pretty good. You make my heart sing. You make everything. No, I'm just kidding with you because nobody knows where the hell to put groovy. I don't either. One chorus, everybody together. 1, 2, 3. Wild Thing. You make my heart sing.